Yo. What is going on, guys? It is your boy Player X here with the Semi Limited Podcast. Back at it again with another installment of your guys' favorite TCG pod this side of the hemisphere. I guarantee you that. Just want to thank everybody for listening and returning back for yet another episode of the podcast. I know we had Pack on last week. It was a very informative episode just to get a whole bunch of competitive mindsets from some players who basically accomplished way more than me in this game. But for today's session, we'll be joined by some past guests of the podcast as we dive into a couple things. One of them being what makes a format thrive versus become stale, because I know some people have been arguing whether this format is quote unquote thriving or has quote unquote become stale or boring to some other players. We're also going to be talking about what the player base can do to help solve some of the game's underlying problems that we might have, as well as diving into some of our ban lists that could be shaping up for the TCG, as the OCG ban list has just been announced last week. But before we get into all that, as usual, let's go into these sponsored plugins, guys. Be sure to go down to that Linktree link down in the description box below to follow all of our social sites. You can click that link, a tab comes up with all of our sites on there. You can click follow, subscribe, ding the bell, whatever the hell you got to do to make sure that you are following all of our sites to be as informed as you can be on all TCG's exclusive information. We finally hit 200 subs on YouTube for those who were listening to the last episode. And for hitting that milestone, we will be giving away another raffle. So whether it be maybe some cards for you guys, maybe it might be some accessories. You never quite know what it might be, but we will be discussing at the end of this episode. So tune in until the end of this episode to find out what it may be and how you can earn it for yourself. We will be continuing to do more giveaways, especially when we hit our accolades. The next ones will be 50 followers for TikTok, 100 for X or Twitter, whichever one you want to call it nowadays, 200 for Instagram and Discord, and now 500 for YouTube when we hit that new milestone. Speaking of things that we're giving out, just a quick shout out to Unplugged Gaming in Banlist, New York for sponsoring the podcast. Be sure to join their Discord server in the description box below to become a part of their TCG communities, whether it be Magic, Pokemon, One Piece, Yu-Gi-Oh! It doesn't matter if it comes in cardboard form, they got it there for you. So be sure to join their Discord to be a part of their servers, and you can talk to your friends or and maybe a new stranger or a new player about some of the games you might be playing, maybe some cards you might want to trade for, and when you show up in person in the store, be sure to tell them that the boys over at Semi Limited sent you, and they'll be sure to definitely hook you up. And last but not least, guys, also be sure to catch Brad, aka Mr. Perfect, live streaming on Twitch every Saturday night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. His Twitch will also be linked into our Linktree link down below. You can click on that, catch him every Saturday at 11 p.m. on the East Coast of the United States. He's usually doing things like deck theory or crafting. Maybe we're plotting up something new or spicy to take to a OTS championship or maybe a regional. You never quite know with Brad. He's a very wild man, and I thoroughly enjoy watching him stream because he definitely does try to get the crowd interaction on point for a stream. So be sure to catch him if you're not doing anything on Saturday nights. And be sure to interact with this chat as well, because every Friday night we also link up to get the Friday night wrap up to find out what happened on stream and what we can actually talk about on the pod as well. But before we dig into today's episode, I'd like to introduce our guests for today. These players may be returning guests to the podcast, but don't call it a comeback for them because they've been here all along. So our first one, hailing back from Buffalo, the rogue commander of the Western New York hemisphere, is among us today, as well as a Missouri native who's been featured many times on this platform. So please be sure to give a big semi-limited welcome to both Winner Killz and Vengeful Shadows.
Yo, what's up? Thanks for having me. Good to be back.
How's it going, guys?
Always good to have both of you guys on there. So glad you guys can make it. Appreciate you guys taking the time out of your busy schedules to come down there and basically talk Yu-Gi-Oh with us. Would you like to introduce yourselves? Gonna be any plugins, maybe shout outs you guys have?
Yeah, so I'm Winner Killz. Been making Yu-Gi-Oh content on YouTube for 10 years. Currently on hiatus, but you can find me on YouTube, Winner_Killz with a Z. I've been mainly focusing on photography in the meantime, enjoying some time off from Yu-Gi-Oh, but you can check me out on Instagram, Mike English Photography. Yeah, that's pretty much about it.
Alrighty, guys, and this is Vengeful Shadows, and you can actually find me as well on YouTube. We do a lot of the Yu-Gi-Oh content kind of revolving around market watches, how to beat videos, and just kind of top cards be picking up for the metagame whenever they're, like a little bit before they become relevant, try to get cards into the hands of players before they spike in price. And we are just primarily on the YouTube. We do have a Twitch kind of presence, and then we are also on X as well. And again, that is Vengeful Shadows, and that is 0WZ in Shadows.
You guys with the Z's in your names, I don't know.
Hey man, hey, no, we know what's up. It's from way
Did
back
we
in
go
the
to
day.
English?
Yeah.
I know Mike's last name is English, but I don't think we went to that class. We're just over here not messing up with grammar.
Right.
But now that all that is out of the way, guys, let's dig off into today's episode. Starting off with this super dry ass format that most people have been complaining about since about November of last year when Age of Overlord came out. But I guess before we start this topic, we should probably draw our lines in the sand so we can kind of see a baseline stance or some of the requirements for what a quote unquote good format would be for each of us. So let's start off with winner, and let's just say what are some of the things in your own words would be characteristics of a good format? Whether it be like a triangle format, maybe you like more diversity with it, maybe 4 or 5 top decks. Do you like when the top deck is by far the best deck in the room, or do you like where it's kind of like neck and neck? What do you think would be a good format in your eyes? If you can close your eyes and have your own little perfect world, bring us there.
Well, I think it would probably be definitely not like a one deck format. I hate those. I know a lot of people don't like, formats where there's like 20 different decks that are viable because, it makes preparing to events pretty difficult, which I understand. Um, but I would say like a triangle format where maybe there's 3 really good decks and then like an outer ring around that of, maybe 10 or so decks that are also viable that are dependent on how well you pilot them, maybe have good matchups against all the top 3 decks, but not a one format deck, not like a 30 deck format, but like I don't know, mid range, you got a lot of options on the table, but nothing super crazy, I guess is what I would find as perfect in my opinion. Just because you know I think one of the greatest things about this game is that there are so many options on the table, and that keeps increasing year after year.
Yeah.
And when you have to limit yourself to one deck, I don't know, just gets very boring very fast. So that's my thoughts.
Especially when it's for 1 month, right?
Yeah. Well, for 1 month time, right? It's fine, but for several months, yeah, no.
Yeah, I feel that. What about you, Benj?
Yeah, no, I'm pretty much similar with that. I'm like the joy of Yu-Gi-Oh is that it's not a rotating format. So when it feels like it is a rotating format, it kind of like loses touch and kind of I feel like what it is to be a Yu-Gi-Oh game. And I like formats that do have a little bit more variety in what can compete. Like he was saying, like where it might just be kind of triangle format, but as you get to the tier 2 decks, like at least they can compete and like make their way into the top 8s, and you can still top with like maybe not the best deck. And might not be the best example, but I was like a big fan of like the hat format, where at least it was like resource based and a lot of back and forth, and a lot of just like player knowledge and the technical skill really kind of like thrived in those formats. And I think it kind of kept it interesting because it's not like the same combo over and over. It was like an ever evolving field of play that you had to keep countering.
Agree with that to a certain standpoint. I know Hat was very very resourceful. I don't go back and play very many older formats myself, just because I kind of like, not to say don't want to get distracted, but like I like keeping
Nice.
the information in my head as relevant as possible to like modern, and I don't want to go back and like maybe learn a new ruling or a new card or like a way a card worked back then and then mess up in modern because I'm go ahead and dabbling into other things. But I do agree with what both of you guys said as far as like there needs to be something in there that's like definitively gives it a backbone, like whether it be 2 or 3, maybe even 4 different decks in the meta. Like wasn't a big hater of toss format. It's the format that I first came into when I started playing Yu-Gi-Oh. But every deck, although there was 4 like high and far away like the best decks that you could play that format, there were other decks that you could play. I remember getting my regional invite with Cyber Dragons that format because you just had to know how a format works in order to kind of like counter it. But like even those decks, Thunder Dragon was a very very like short range, like mid range, that stopped a whole bunch of the adding from the Sky Striker. Sky Striker was a super aggro, trying to break your board and kill you right here, right now. Then you had Salomon Great, which is more of like a another mid-rangey deck that kind of put up a whole bunch of you're not playing, you're more stun cards, and then you had Orcus, which was basically I'm just playing on your opponent's turn. Each one of those decks was super duper strong, and each one of those decks had its own identity within a format that you could compete with other decks. Like I know that like the hindered Spiral was still a thing. I know that Invoked was starting to see a surge at the end of that format, but there definitely were other things that you could play. But every one of those decks had a staple or some sort of like gimmick that it was trying to accomplish, and it did it in a good way enough to where it could compete with everything else. So I do agree that those are needed. Like a deck has to have a gimmick, and it has to be able to do that gimmick consistently. But with you got formats like where we're in now, where like some people could be in a hand trap format. I personally like board breaker formats myself, where you can play cards like Raigeki and Lightning Storm, maybe Duster, Dark Hole, shit like that, and just be like, I don't care what you just did. You can waste all 15 minutes of your turn putting up a board. I'm gonna play 3 cards and crack that whole shit apart. But like that's personally like where I feel like is my favorite format. It may not be good, but like I still have fun within those formats.
No, they're a
So
lot of fun. A lot of fun
yeah,
for
exactly.
Raigeki formats.
But like there's a difference between like something like toss format where there's a bunch of cards or a bunch of decks in there, or hat format, and then you fast forward to something like spiral format where if you weren't playing spiral you basically weren't winning. Then you got tier elements. If you weren't playing tier elements when that deck was like super duper off the chains, you just were not competing. Like you could play sprite with some shifter cards and maybe hope to see a Bistio or two, but for the most part you're just not, you're gonna be drowning in the card advantage that they create off of just a card like Kikolos or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So like, there's
Variety is the
definitely
spice
things
of
that
life.
require. Yes, correct. I agree with that. I do think that there needs to be multiple decks in the format, not just one big one, because then it kind of narrows it down to all right, either you if you thoroughly like this deck or enjoy this deck, you're gonna have a great format for yourself. You're gonna have to be pleased and whatever like that. But if you don't like the big main deck of the format, it's gonna be a long 3 months for you. Like it doesn't matter what you care about. If everyone else likes it, if it's gonna be meta, if it's got the advantage and the power ceiling to do it, it's gonna happen. Like it doesn't matter what you personally like, but what
Yeah, and it's
other
like
people
plus
gravitate towards.
it's like people playing the deck have to like the deck, like you were saying, that actually have to play. But then on top of that, it's also like the people that are playing against the deck. Like you have the people that obviously like don't want to play tier. Maybe they couldn't afford it, or maybe they just don't like the way the deck plays, being a mill deck. But they were, like you said, it was like they were forced out of that option. Besides, like maybe like Runic Naturia, and like as a player myself, sometimes it's like, or like when I used to play, it's like okay, it was nice playing against multiple decks that were all good that I had to think differently against instead of slamming
Yes,
my head against like 12 rounds of the exact same deck where it's like, yeah, I might be good against it and I might know how to beat it, but did I enjoy my Saturday? Not really.
I agree. What about you? Winter? Anything else to say about that?
No, I think we got it nailed.
Okay, I like that. What would you guys say would be 3 positives to the format that we're currently in right now? I would say let's just give it from March of 2024 till right now. Let's just say from the last ban list, and then we'll pivot to maybe 3 negatives about the format that we're currently in. But let's just start positively before we start tearing into Konami's ass about what they should need to fix. But maybe we could start with Winter, and this is just give 3 things, whether it be small, big, whatever like that, that you actually do thoroughly enjoy. That when people talk about the June 2024 format, you're like, you know what, this isn't that bad.
Well, like I said, I've been on hiatus since like the beginning of February, so I couldn't tell you one positive thing about it because I've just been far and away uh from from the game. I know that Snake Eye is still a powerful deck, but that's all I really. I honestly like I couldn't provide any positives because I just have no experience, so maybe pass the question along.
Hey man, no worries, no
Hey,
worries. That's fine.
Vince.
You're not missing that much.
Yeah,
He's
that's what
not.
I've
He's
been
not.
told. That's what I've been told. So fair
No,
enough.
no, it's not no worries on that one. I think because I had to like really kind of dig deep to find these positives. Let me tell you.
Yeah, I
No,
bet. I bet.
no, there's a few. Okay, so like first off, we've been in a fire format for like a little bit now. And again, I'm dying over here, so if I mute my mic, it is so I don't die on the microphone. But so we're in a fire format for a minute, and the community has been really, 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 really wanting fire formats. Shout out to Pain, So now we're all in pain, never ending
Yeah.
pain. So we got the
Thanks,
fire
Pain.
format everyone wanted. Thank you, thank you. It's predictable, so I think a lot of players at the higher ends might like enjoy that a little bit because we were saying, now you know what you're playing against, you know the combo lines, you know what to out with the hand traps, and what the secondary combo lines would be. And maybe people enjoy the predictability in the format. I'm not certain on that. And again, I'm sure it just goes back to what type of format are the players really out after. I'm sure there are some players out there that are in love with this, Um, and then the third one is kind of it was a negative at first, but it's become a slight positive, and that's like the prices of everything have started to drop. We started with like $120 wanteds. Now they're down to like what are they? Are they like $30 or something like that? They were like crazy.
Yeah,
So
there's
like they've
some
actually
low.
started
Yeah,
like
they're crazy.
tanking prices. So if this stuff doesn't get hit or reprinted in a like reasonable fashion, this is a potential time this format to be like I don't like advising people to get into stuff right before reprint seasons. I think that's a horrible idea. But there's probably going to be a few choice cards that don't get handled the way that we think will be handled, and it will definitely end up like coming back to like spike in price and stuff like that.
No, I agree. Like I think that the ability of people having so much time to figure out the deck, figure out if they like the deck, how the deck operates, what the lines of play are, gives you a better indication of if the deck is a good fit for you. And with the longevity of this format being from November of last year
Yeah.
until now, you've had plenty of time for cards to go up and down, formats to get solved, and then put back into mystery and stuff like that. So I do agree with like that, especially when price is a third of the reason why some would or wouldn't play the game, like whether they are priced out of a deck or they can afford it and it's just the best deck they can afford. Something like Tempai, where you might have to spend like 200 maybe $300 on a deck that could get you a regional top if you really wanted. You could go to a YCS, and if you had really lucky hands and lucky opponents, you might be able to actually do something really well in something like that. But then there's decks like Snake Eyes, which was close to $1,000 on
Yeah,
release,
it was
with the
Unbelievable.
three
insane.
wanted, the three
Insane.
Diabelle, the Flambergs were all spiking, all the extra deck monsters were going crazy. So yeah, I guess price does have something to do with it, and I can give you that. I think a couple other positives that I had written down from this format particularly, I did like the way that deck building innovations have been like improving. Like they've been really like keen, even if it is just the same couple of guys, like every like format, just kind of locking themselves into hyperbolic time chamber and just going into the lab and finding out combos and shit like that, what works, what doesn't work. Like I was just talking to a buddy of mine about how Zealantis went from a completely unused card to like a extra deck staple for any fire deck,
Oh
regardless of
yeah,
what
and
you're
it's like an
playing.
immediate go-to as well.
And
It's
it's
like
just
it's not even
so
replaceable.
consistent. Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. It's just so. I remember first when it was first introduced, I hated that line. I'm like, yo, you want me to go into a Link 4, give that shit up for a Zealantis just to do what? Get an extra pop of a body? Like that made no sense to me. And then I'm seeing it in like YCS gameplay, and I'm seeing it from the 3v3 gameplay, and I'm like, damn. The more I'm watching this unfold, the more I can't like argue with it anymore. There's no way I don't even not like it anymore. Now I love it. Now I'm like, damn, I need to put a Zealantis, a Promethean Princess, and a
Yeah, this is
fucking
going in
Raging Phoenix in
everything.
every extra deck. Yeah, exactly. Especially if I play any fire deck. So like the deck building innovations, especially when you get to like one deck being the best deck of the
Yeah.
format, I definitely will agree with has been going up like crazy. Like a lot of the highest minds. We have things like Obedience to the Lullaby get played
Yeah,
a
oh
couple
dude,
months
yeah.
ago. What's that new one last month? It was like trans Metaltronus or whatever the fuck it was. That extra deck or side deck card that people were playing the quick play spells. I think
I
that's a really
saw it,
cool
but I
one.
like never memorized the name. No, the obedience was really good, and then I also liked, like you were saying, how they evolved the deck a bit. It went from like Fire King Snake Eye, and obviously that was like 2 formats ago, and then to just regular Snake Eye Synchro, and then it just like dedicated into like the Link lines and everything like that. And a few, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, there's a few off shoot versions, but now it's like Cashiera Snake Eye, and like you said, just the innovations we've seen time and time again, and like how it's evolved from going from like the earlier regionals to now we're seeing nationals clearing out, and how just like the lines that are sticking with like the skill drains and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. Like even now, you see like a couple months ago they were playing Summon Limit as their floodgates of choice, and then
Yup.
like especially Snake Eyes players can just send their floodgates away when they go to activate their Ash. But that kind of leads me into another positive that I was talking about, which would be technical play improvement. I've seen so many people, especially when you get on a format like that we have now that is super heavy hand trap reliant. Whether you need to have 2 or 3 hand traps in your opening hand and be able to play through 1 or 2 yourself for your turn. But like that only increases with technical play. The more hand traps are on the format, like you could take a deck like Tempai, which could play 15 to 20, engine cards, but you're playing 20 to 25 non-engine cards. If I give you 4 hand traps and a Pydra, you still have to use those 4 hand traps to the best of your ability. If you misuse your hand traps or you're misplaying with them or you didn't optimize them appropriately, it doesn't matter how many hand traps you have if your opponent can sidestep all of them. So like you have to not only get good with the deck that you're playing, but you have to get good with where do I hand trap my opponent? Like where is this Ash Blossom going to hurt this branded player the most? All right, branded fusion. Where is this Ash Blossom going to hurt the Snake Eyes player the most? Okay, OSS. All right, well now if I played this Ash Blossom, I got to make sure that I know that I save this Veiler or this Imperm for the Hita that they're about to make, so you can kind of lure Snake Eye players into making a Hita prematurely when you have the out for it, just because of knowing how the technical play is and what these decks are going to do and how they have to move to get there. Like I've seen a lot of people improve not only as like I would say like a pilot of their own deck, but as a duelist overall. Like I think technical play is something that you can never get enough of, and that's something that just shifts obviously from format to format, getting the little intricacies, knowing when to chain block, knowing that I can bring out a populace when I have my Flamberge link both off and go chain link 1, Flamberge, chain link 2 pop just to play around a bell. Like that stuff like that most people aren't going to teach you. You kind of have to kind of go ahead and like learn that either on the fly by dueling other people or by studying other players who are better than the deck with you. Like that's another thing I think I've seen people really improve on as far as this format. I don't know if you guys agree as well, but that's
Oh,
just something that
oh
stuck
yeah.
out with me.
No,
Mhm.
100%. Like, and like with the Snake Eye Oak thing. I mean, I, at the beginning, kind of saw people going into some weird combos, and then they learned they're like, oh, I'm gonna go into the Link Rebo, which is now ripped. I'm sorry about that, but
Mhm.
then we saw like where they started like incorporating Temple into the deck, and then that's when everything started going a little crazy. It was like when people were like, wait a second, like pure Snake Eye Temple, that's really good. So even
Yeah,
some of the players
exactly.
with the Fire King were starting to use the Temple, and then they realized, oh, if we send it to Oak off of the Ash, and then like we will have extra bodies on board once we start using
Mhm.
Oak's secondary ability. So
And playing
then it's
around
like
Nib.
3 summons back. Yeah, and play around
Yeah.
Nib. We get 3 summons back every time the Flame Burst activates. It started really building off of itself and then just turning into something new every time we saw it play at one of these events.
Mhm. Winner, have you watched any of the YCSs, any of the EU nationals that have been streaming for the last like month or so or something like that? Have you
Nope.
like stayed up in the current? So you ever stayed up in
No.
the at all?
No.
Is it just like a not interest
No
of the format
interest.
or the deck?
It's no interest in the game as a whole, as more of like a cleanse. So I haven't kept up with anything at all,
Okay, so
really.
maybe the negatives.
Like I
What we'll hear
hear,
from you
I'll
might
hear a
be
little
some
bit
positives.
from my friends who still play. I'll hear a little this, hear a little that. This card needs to be banned. This and that, but not actively seeking out anything.
Okay, so what are 3 negatives about the format that you would see that keep you from even watching something or even keeping up to date with the format? You know what I'm saying? What's
Yeah.
got you completely walking away from it?
Well, the first thing was just burnout. That was the first major thing back in January, where I was like, I'll just take a little 2 week break, kind of because the format was all like still Snake Eye format, and like the games that I was playing, it's just like, yeah, this deck's it's just too good if you're not playing it. What's the point? And then that last ban list that Baron got banned kind of like pushed my decision over the edge because I was just enjoying playing Speedroid, and I understand that Baron's a very generic.
Ignorant card.
Yeah, I totally understand that, but like I couldn't help but be upset that it was just a card that was almost created in a way to be a crutch card for a lot of weaker decks that they just kind of ripped out from everybody else, and then the deck that was abusing it is still a really good deck while everything else is just really bad.
Correct.
Still, you know what I mean? Like, I just that treatment of how they handle ban lists like that, and how they release cards into the game like that, and they're legal for years, and the decks at the top abuse them, but everything else underneath needs them as a crutch, and then they get ripped away at a certain point. So it was like that really just put it from being like, okay, well, maybe this is a good excuse to just kind of like take a step back completely. Because like it was just the format was just so stale. Like even in that little short time where I wasn't sure like how long I wanted to stay out, it was like Snake Eye is still the best deck. Even after the ban list is an event, okay, it's still the best deck. No surprises there. Like I hear my friends complaining about it, and I'm like, this is just something that like I haven't taken a break from the game since like 2017. So I was like, I kind of deserve to take some
Yeah,
time
no,
off.
100%. Yeah.
And I was like, you know, some new cards got announced for the Photon Galaxy archetype or new Galaxy Tachyon cards. I was like, you know what? Whenever those cards decide to hit the TCG, that's when I'll probably start to dabble again. But it was just the feeling of the game getting too stale, the same deck being too dominant for too long, and also just repeated frustrations that I've had with how the game has been ran in general, from Konami's standpoint, that I was just getting sick of, and it's just toxic, and I needed it out of my system. So that's why basically.
No, I can understand that. I mean,
No, that-
those are all realistic. That's like fatigue and shit
A
like
lot
that.
of good
but like keeping
reasons
that,
too.
yeah.
Yeah, at a
about
certain
you,
point, you
Raj?
just got to tell yourself enough is enough, you know?
Well, I just want to say, like, that's like everything you just mentioned. I'm sure you are by far not the only one thinking right
Oh,
now.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there are many players that are just so burnt out of like the same old thing. It's kind of like the Konami tactic of the ban list. I think me and X were talking about this during the last ban list when like Baron came out. It's like, okay, cool. This is like a money ban list where it's like, oh, all these cards were in rarity collection and we just gave them to the players who just were able to obtain them for the first time in any rarity they want, and then they're banned. Sorry,
Exactly.
bro.
It's
Thanks
shit
for
like
investing
that.
in that. Yeah.
Exactly.
No, it's a kick in the stomach, man. And like it really, and like they've been doing the collectors, because I'm a collector, you know, and like they've been doing us dirty for
They've
like
been
the
doing you
last
guys
couple months here,
filthy.
dude.
They've been doing
doing
you
like they've
collectors
awful.
fucking filthy.
I've been trying to sell some stuff because, like, you know, this photography equipment's not cheap. Paying
Oh
for
no,
gas to
yeah,
go
yeah.
to the places that I
Spots,
want to
yep.
go to is it's not cheap. So like I sell stuff that I don't need, and
Yeah.
it's stuff that I think is good stuff, and then I go and look on TCG Player like, how can I move this for, and shit gets reprinted to death, and it's like, well, shit, I guess
Yeah.
I'm out. Have I been a loyal player and customer to this company for 10 fucking years, and this is
Well,
this is
see,
the thanks I
that's the
get?
problem. You've been a loyal customer to the company, and
Yeah,
like
exactly.
that's where I broke away years ago. Is I do singles, I do like personal singles, so my money's going to like core TCG or Ideal 808 on TCG Player. Shout out to them, they're the best, bro. Ideal 808. But
Yeah.
like for real though, like that's the thing with Konami, and like we, at least as a collector, I felt secure for a while. And then they're like, well, what else can we dip into? Oh, wait a minute, let's just reprint cards on the same rarity. And it's like, okay, man, that's a little new low, especially when you have like all these other cards that have never had a reprint in their life. You know what I mean? Or like the
Yeah.
one reprint they have, it just isn't good enough. I mean, look at
17 years
Trident
ago.
Dragon. Yeah, I mean, it's just like, let's not
Go
even
look
get
through your
into
bulk.
that.
They didn't
like,
even
come on,
try
no,
to
ask a
reprint it. It
friend,
was a
phone a
joke
friend,
at
bro.
first.
Yeah,
Oh my
phone a
god, that was
friend, bro.
ridiculous.
And like how out of touch they were. I mean, like, and I got my enjoyment out of that. Don't get me wrong, I was the guy who had one. But that was insane. Like, how do you not even just have like a Starlight of it at least or something? Or like immediately after, like the very next set that's reprint set, you should have something like that. So I think
yeah.
it's just time and time again, whether it's like the ban list that's only hitting the symptoms and never the problem, but it will hit the problem after we release the Megaton to like give them all these cards, like the chance to get these cards, and then we'll give you a month to play it, and then the month later we'll ban all this. Like we know that's gonna happen. We know it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Now
And
you
then
can be
that's like,
toxic, and we're gonna take it away from you.
yeah, exactly. And it's like it's bad enough because we know they power creep it out, so it's like we're already kind of going in with that expectation. But I definitely think that like the reprinting thing that they've been doing, it's been rough, and I haven't enjoyed a tin since Max C was in like those tins with Hanzos
Oh
and
my
stuff
God,
with
here we go.
Shockmaster. I mean, it's
Max
not even
over
about
here.
Max C. It's not even about Max C.
Yeah.
Not this time.
It's straight up.
It's
It's
just better
straight up not
product.
this time. No, I'm saving that for later. That's why it's not about this.
Yeah,
time.
that's what I'm saying. No, you just don't know that Ben just fucking loves Maxi. But
the hate collectors expensive start to the, like you said, like the format was out of hand right now. And then it's just bland. It's just the same thing over and over. So it's like I don't want to like beat a dead horse, but it's just the same thing, banning the wrong things. Link Haribo, what the hell? Like Link Haribo. Like I'm
Yeah.
gonna I rest my case.
Yeah.
And it's funny because Venge, you also, because we know where Winter stands, he's not playing this format, nor has he
Yeah.
played any of the last couple formats. And so, just to let the viewers and people who are listening know, like you are also a non-competitive player, correct? Like you just
I'm gonna reveal something here to you guys, okay? And I probably shouldn't reveal this, okay?
reveal that
I'm
shit.
an
Exclusive. You guys hear it.
undocumented Kasi player. Like I do not even have an ID.
You don't go to
Okay?
tournaments?
I have never gone to like at my locals. Like it was funny if they ever wanted me to enter, I had to like do a sub one because like I never actually it was a temp, bro. It was a temp. I'm an upper deck brother. Like okay, you know what I mean? I love upper deck. Those judges were the best. Okay, that is all I'm gonna say. Like when you sat down from
Konami's not
against
my
an upper
company.
deck no, I love Konami. Okay, I actually really do love Konami. But like no. By that time I was doing like the commentary for like, you know what I mean? So it was like I was the guy doing the streaming at the locals, you know. So it was like I didn't like necessarily like enter. I'd sit down and play the people who were like entering and doing all that stuff just to show, you know, we could the people in the commentary booth knew how to play, but you know what it is. Gotta keep that thing on you just in case. But it just I don't know. As far as like sitting down again, it's like sitting down in a 12-player tournament or like a 12-round tournament or more, whatever it is nowadays. Like with the day twos, it's like not the thing I necessarily want to do. But again, it's like I don't ever. I'm not saying it's boring. No. There are definite formats where it's like if you find a deck you are interested in, like there's been a couple formats where it's like I'll find a deck. It's like, bro, I'll be honest. If I could afford this and play this against like X, Y, and Z, this is something I could take to a tournament, sit down with, grind against any deck I play against because it doesn't matter. I love the deck I'm playing. You know what I'm saying? So like I think the last time I've even had a deck like remotely like that was like early pendulums with like Apex Pendulum and stuff like that, like Apex Magician and stuff. Like just to tell you how toxic I am. So it's like that's like the last time I've wanted to sit down and grind. So it's like I understand Winter's side of it where it's like, bro, I'm just taking a little bit of time out and then it kind of stretches out to a little bit more time. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just yeah, so it's like I definitely understand that. It's just and like I said, you're not missing like a ton this format. The only thing that I would like say about stepping onto formats is like coming back in to like learn the combos. Like there are definitely important combo lines that I think this format will offer us through like Z-Lance's combo or through like certain Snake Eye Engine combos that it's like they will probably stretch into the future of the metagame. And like that is my only regret of is not playing like through like I think probably like one of the firewall formats because that's where a lot of players really like perfected their link climbing abilities and stuff.
Yeah,
You know, where it's
combos
like
really got
now,
laid out.
yeah, where now you guys like where it's like you were talking earlier, you don't even go back to the older formats, and I totally respect that because it's like if you are stuck in that line of thinking, you will get destroyed nowadays.
Yeah.
It's because it's not relevant. None of it's relevant. So it's
Yes.
like I definitely understand that. You know, like. So yeah, I don't know, I'm
Sometimes fast
ranting at
paced
this
isn't
point.
always well. Sometimes you're right, but sometimes fast paced isn't always positive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
there's
yeah.
there is an appropriate pace that card games should take, especially when they're being imported from a TCG or from like an OCG type barrier where they're getting it first. Like there definitely should be a pace to how you're setting these cards. There should be a cap to how you're making these cards and developing these cards. I honestly, if I'm going to pivot to my three negatives, one of them, if we're speaking on it, is just the genericness of monsters nowadays. If you take a card like Promethean Princess and be like, damn, this shit does three different things and it's fucking a strong card. Then you look at its requirements and be like, damn, 2 fucking plus effect monsters. That's not shit. Let's take a look at a card like Elf. Elf is a very, very strong monster, saying that you can bring back a link 2, rank 2, or level 2 from your graveyard, and if your opponent controls it, it's a quick effect. You can do whatever. That it was abused in other decks. But if that's but only because it said 2 monsters and it had to be a link 2, rank 2, or link or a
You
level
could
2.
bring back sprite monsters only, but no.
It could say, that's what I'm saying. Like the genericness of monsters, like now Sprite has to, my fucking dear-hearted Sprite has to be hit now, or it has to be at less of full power because its boss monster was abused in decks outside of its own archetype. That genericness is just what's going to hinder not only card design but just gameplay for the future. Like Predaplant Verte Anaconda, perfectly good card for its own archetype. Which was just a shitty archetype that tried to fuse and needed better ways to do it. But then now the fact that it just said 2 plus effect monsters, now everyone can throw this shit in there. Like that's what's really, I think, one of the negatives about the format nowadays is like look at even Zelantis, 1 plus monster that has a link 4. Like like there's no restriction on, not even a water. You don't have to. You're not locked into anything afterwards. Like bro, the restrictions are almost non-existent. Who gives the fuck that Promethean Princess says locks you into fire? When it's gonna bring back a fire that I can just link into any other fire with. You know what I'm saying? Like that doesn't
custom
matter.
Cards.
Exactly. They don't fucking matter. Like the genericness of cards nowadays, even take your Burn on the Floor. You're absolutely right. Pivotal in Speedroid because it's not only a wind monster, but it's also a synchro monster. So it just blends in with your deck so fucking well. But then it's just generic. It's just a tuner and a non-tuner. So like not only can the Speedroid players who need that crutch play it, but now the meta decks who don't even need that crutch can still play it and crutch their way over your crutch. And it's like now we're getting to a point where it's getting super, super intense. And I just it's different when you have cards that say they require a certain monster to bring them out, or you have to jump through hoops to go get to them. Calamities. I don't really necessarily mind Calamities being in the format until Crimson Dragon came out, where it's like, all right, now I can just make any generic rank, or sorry, Synchro 11 or 12 or whatever the fuck it is, and then tag itself out into a monster that says your opponent cannot play the game. And I understand that monster because it was meant to jump through hoops to get to that monster. But nowadays it's just so generic. It's just it's such a negative.
And they make shortcuts for it. It's like the opposite. It's the opposite of righting a wrong. They just
wrong it faster.
Yeah, they're like, all right, well, we had this really ignorant card. Let's make a card that, oh, we put too much text on this and too much restrictions 5, 6 years ago when we printed it. Let's just make something that skips all that. Like same thing with the Anaconda thing, and then it made Dragoon like a staple of the format forever, and with the Calamity Synchro we were just talking about, etc. Like, and it's like stuff that like in the moment you remember it and it sucks to deal with in that format, and then it goes away for whatever reason, whether it gets just out of favor in the format, people figure out how to beat it, or it gets banned. And then something else creeps in that is just as problematic, and it just rinse and repeat over and over again and over. Like for playing as long as I've played, I just see these things coming, and they happen over and over again. It's not like things get better where like the card design is getting better or more balanced. It's just the same shit, different day kind of thing. And
it's like they tone it down for a minute and then they bring it back, like
that's
harder
one
than
of the
ever.
things like I've really felt has gotten way out of control is like in the time span of like tier limit format, like right around when Power of the Elements came out, like I felt like we ramped up into a tier 0 format, but in my mind I was like, well, how long has it been since we had a true tier 0 format before this? And in my head I'm thinking it's probably been several years at least, and then you go into the next year, and then like it's now tier still broken, and then like immediately jumps into like Cash, and then it jumps into Snake Eye, and then it's Snake Eye still. Like it's just like there's no settling down. There's no downtrend in the graph. It just keeps going up and up. Like we need I wanted a break. You know what I mean? Like I want there to be some kind of lull where everything is worse than the decks that we just had, because then like the definition of a tier 0 deck has to be so much further beyond what we've been seeing. And I don't think that's any good for the game's trajectory. So it's like this constant, like these spikes that kept happening one after another, like these massive earthquakes that happen one day after the next. Normally they're once in 100-year things, but they're happening every year. That's kind of what it felt like with the metagame in the past year or so.
Since I started playing in like 2019, I didn't even know what a tier 0 format was until what was it? I think it was we was right after Spiral. It was right when Spiral got quick, or not quick fix. What was the Link monster? The fucking double helix or
Double
whatever the fuck his
Helix,
name
yeah.
was. Yeah, once we got double helix and that was like in the game, like that was like the first quote unquote tier 0 meta that I've been a part of. But
Mhm.
after that, and then because that got cleaned up on that next ban list, and then it was it. I got in the middle of toss, and we were playing toss for a good portion of the time, and then that even those decks got banned, and then I I couldn't even tell you right now. Maybe the only other time was like during COVID when we had what was it? Secret Slayers released. And we had Eldritch come
Emancipator.
out and Emancipators and all that shit. Yeah, that was the last quote unquote like tier 0 meta, but like that wasn't even a real format, and it was
Yeah,
only
'cause there was
because
no
there
real
was no
play.
cards being dropped. Yeah, we just
Yeah.
had no releases for cards, so we're playing with the same fucking cards that we've had, and these are just the newest ones we've got access to. So let's break them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, and then there was a long distance between the last tier 0 format, but you're right. I do like your example. There was Cash Tier, there was Snake Eye there before, right after tier. Like we did just swing one right into the next, right into the next. There was no like
Yeah.
competition between any of these decks. It was just
back to
all right,
back.
this is the best deck. Everything else is gonna lose. All right, cool. This deck got hit. And all right, now this is the best deck. Everything else is gonna lose. All right,
Yeah.
well that one's got hit. We're just moving down the line. That's a very, very good point. And I do think that we do need some time, because I think that was the best time for me to play. Like not to say that I've played through many, many formats. Don't get me wrong. I've only been playing for like 5 fucking years. But in those 5 years, I can safely say I've had way more fun back in 2019 than I'm having right now. And it's not to say I'm not having fun, because I still find a way to play, and I still find my love for the game in one way, shape, or form. Whether it's just hanging out with the friends, doing whatever, if we were playing this or playing video games, doesn't really matter. Just being around the homies. But I was still having fun playing the decks back then. And not every deck was a mirror match. Not every deck was something where like, all right, well, I got to prepare to play Snake Eyes for fucking 9 out of 11 rounds.
Yeah, gotta
And the
hope you
only
open
reason I'm
3 or
not
4
playing it for
hand
the first two.
traps.
Yeah, I hope I open engine and
It's
4 non-engine.
unbelievable.
Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like it's not even a deciding factor of who's better. It's just who opened better. You know what I'm saying? So I do agree with that. And then the last thing I'll say, I think negative wise, is just prize support, man. Like the surprise support
Oh
for
my
this
God,
game
dude.
is just so
That has
trash.
plagued this game for years.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
100%.
I've never really quite understood it. Because once again, Yu-Gi-Oh is the only game I've known. It's almost like when you date someone out of high school, and then you graduate high school and you kind of get these adult problems as a couple, but like you don't really know or have any experience of you going through these waters, because you've been with the same person for forever. Like I've only been with Yu-Gi-Oh. I've never been. I maybe played Digimon for like a little bit when that shit came out, but that's only because my boys were playing it and they needed a fourth.
You've
Like,
never been with
you know,
Pokemon.
yeah, I never really. I mean, I played the video games, but I never played the TCG. I never
Their
got
prize
into
support is
any
nuts.
physical shit. Yeah, and it's crazy. One Piece giving out thousands of dollars.
Oh, dude, One Piece
Pokemon,
is on
you
another
could
level.
top
Konami's like, hey, do you want this
Pokemon version of
8-year-old
it?
gaming
Bread.
console for winning this 2,000 person
Oh
event?
my
Here
god,
you
it's
go.
great. Not
And
only
you
do
get
you get
taxed
the
on
Switch,
it. You get
you
taxed
tax
on
on it.
it.
my
That's
God, I'm
crazy. I had no idea about the tax.
They make you
I did
pay
not know
tax
that.
on that shit. You have to pay
If I,
tax.
Oh,
yo,
no.
that's crazy.
That's
I
why
had no
people
idea
sell.
about
My
that.
friends were telling me about that. Like, that's why the people win and they just sell them right away so they can use it to pay for the taxes. It's all documented. Here's
That's
on top
crazy.
of 8-year-old gaming console.
Yo, like you would think they get a PS5 at the very fucking
You
least.
would
Like, nigga,
think.
goddamn.
You
Yeah.
would think.
Yo, I'm striking a chord.
Keep up with the
them.
fucking times.
Nah, bro. No, it has to be a Konami authentic Xbox to give away. Okay, we can't have any other brands being
Yeah.
shown on these streams. Okay, it has to be a Konami system where you can only give away Konami systems.
Yep.
Dead ass.
So-
But the price
Oh,
support is
God.
just dog shit. And it's not even like I'm comparing it to other games. If you take Pokemon out of the equation, you take One Piece out of the equation, if you just look at the price support for Yu-Gi-Oh, if I, a regular person, wanted to attend an event to win, let's say I wanted to go to the next YCS or go to Nats and win, I have to pay for my travel there. I've got to pay for my hotel there because this is a 2-day event. It's not like it's just 1 day.
Yep.
I got to pay for my food for those 2 or 3 days. I now have to make sure that I'm at a location, eating and making sure I'm good mentally for the next 2 days. Like, bro, that requires a lot. And you're telling me that if I go through all the trial and tribulations of playing for 10 fucking hours day 1, then I go to day 2, play for another 6 hours, and I'm making it through playing the best players, and I make it all the way to first place.
We gotta buy the deck
I'm
to
gonna
play 'em.
win.
Yeah, right.
Not,
that too.
not including that. Not including the
Just
cards I may have
thousands of
borrowed
dollars
and
in
or
debt at
bought
this point.
to get in there. I'm going to walk away with an exclusive playmat that I could probably sell for about $150. I'm gonna walk away with a deck box that I could probably sell for about $50. I'm gonna walk away with a prize card that's probably no more expensive than $400 or $500. And I'm gonna get a Nintendo Switch and an exclusive case for it.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna get a trophy that if I really wanted to sell the trophy, is only as valuable as someone's gonna pay for it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's got your name etched in it. It's not like it's got their name or a generic name. It's got your name etched in it. You know what I'm saying? So you're telling me I spent all that money traveling, all that money on food, all that money for my stay, all that money for my cards, all that money just to get there, and I walk away with like $500, $600, $800 worth of prizes that not even it's like it's handed to you in cash.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's in value, which means I then have to take all that energy I just exerted for the last 2 days and then go back onto the floor, sell it to whoever's standing by, go all to the vendors before they're before they're taking up shop. And be like, yo, buy this prize card on top of it. It's gonna be worth nothing because no one's gonna want it, but specific collectors, but please take it from me because I need to recover some way, shape, or form. Like, it's crazy.
Do you think Jesse Cotton is like the #1 slinger of PlayStations at this point, or Nintendo Switches? like straight up, like that's the number. Like, do you think he low key is just like
I heard Nintendo cards actually doubles?
I'd be building a fort out of him at this point. That was him.
For real, dude. For real.
I mean, like
he's just got a whole gaming room.
Yeah, I mean, I won't deny just like having the title of YCS champion is the greatest thing that comes out of those, but like when you look at everything else,
ego, and that's not physical.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's on there, but like we only care. If I were to walk out in the real world, I go to a bank right now and I say I want a loan for $100,000. I am the YCS fucking winner of Indianapolis.
Yeah, no, that's totally.
You know what I'm saying? They're looking at me like, who the fuck are you? Get out of my office. You know what I'm saying?
No, I
we are the ones who put value to that.
Yeah, for sure.
But what were you gonna say about it though?
Well, it's just like I mean, I just say like the prize support is dog shit awful. Like I will not disagree with that there. But like the only thing that stands out, like you said, is just a title, right? And in my opinion, out of everything else, like the title is the most important thing, and it's worth nothing. You know what I mean? It's literally that's a very weird standpoint. Like if they gave out like a $3,000 check to first place, that'd be pretty fucking nice. Like, but no, we're just getting the same old thing that we've gotten for years. Like,
I think
the
even if it was
cards...
$1,000, nigga, shit, just give me cash, nigga. You know, fuck that Nintendo Switch, nigga. You know I just spent $500 fucking to get here.
Exactly. Like keep the Switch, keep all the other shit. Give me some money. Like don't even waste money on buying Switches for the year for this amount of events. Just save that money.
Just hand it to me directly, Konami.
Give me a check,
nigga. But like, do you think that there's anything we can do about the state of the game as like a player base, or is this all like in the hands of Konami with no power to us? Like, because there's got to be something we can do, right?
What you can do is go outside and enjoy the weather. Not play, not give them any business.
This nigga winner is just like go outside and touch grass, guys.
That's literally what I've been doing.
You're improving the format.
Great. It's been fucking great. It's been one of the best things I've done in my life in a long fucking time.
I'm fucking loving this.
The weakness to fire format is grass. Confirmed. Got you.
Perfect. Yeah, not a weakness at all. It's actually the resistance.
It's the reason. Oh no.
But what about you, Ben? Do you think there's something we can do as players, or is it really just like, oh yeah, Konami's got us bent over, you know?
Oh, like Winter said, vote with your dollars. That's always important. You know what I mean? If we want like product to be better, we just don't buy bad product, but it's hard to say that to the the stores that have to buy it. Okay, so I actually did a couple things for this one because this one's actually interesting. So there's a couple things we can do. All right, and it's not even necessarily like 1,000% in the hands of the players, even though a lot of the players could probably spur this with OTS events or like OTS stores. But like back when we would do streaming for like Yeti Gaming Live and stuff like that, they did a lot of really cool stuff at that OTS. Like they did like prize card tournaments, because a lot of them OTS stores are for the most part restricted on the pricing they're actually allowed to give out in any tournaments they hold for Yu-Gi-Oh. So a lot of the ones like, or at least the one I went to back in the day and did that for, like it was like literally Konami products. Like they would get mad at like, you couldn't do any cash or anything like that. Yeah. So it was like, so prize cards. So like the shop owner would go out and get like Blood Mephist. He'd get out and it was like Vorshak. There was like a machine rank 5 guy, and he like a prize prize card, and we went and got that one. We got like the Blood Memphis, and we actually held like tournaments for prize cards, and like prize mats and YCS mats and stuff like that. And that really did spur like a lot of activity as far as like tournament wise, and like we'd stream it and stuff, and like those were rather big tournaments. So now that Yu-Gi-Oh's even bigger, I'm sure like if a OTS went the length and was like getting a prize card for a tournament and went through like the proper advertisement, like you could probably generate a lot of hype. Now, is this something you personally want to go do, win or kills? I'm not too sure you'd be in that tournament. You know what I'm saying? But like for the people that are like wanting to, what I mean? But like if you were in the game and like had a deck, that might be something that you would want to go play or something, right? Like you might be a little bit more interested if like you're in the game and like there's like a prize tournament that like you could actually like go to that isn't like a YCS you have to pay like hundreds of dollars to go to. I'm actually like would that actually like do you think that'd be a little more hype if like your local TS was like holding these big tournaments?
Um, hmm. I think I do like local stuff better. Yeah, if local support was better, I think that would definitely be a game changer because I
Yeah.
don't mind traveling for certain events. Like I've gone to like Niagara Falls and Hartford and Pittsburgh and stuff like that in Toronto. Um but I like a good local event. I don't mind doing a local event in like Rochester or even close to home or something like Niagara Falls. But like a local OTS, like, and honestly, too, for my like competitive level, that's like all I really care to do is like something like that, like OTS or regional size. But yeah, something local like that would definitely be a lot better.
Yeah, and like I was saying, what I was meaning was like it won't help with like the obtaining of the cards to go into the event. So I know it doesn't like fix that side of the game. That's its own like
Hmm.
problem that I'm not even addressing right now. But it's like I just remember like prize card events that we did or like big mat events or whenever like potted duality came out, it was like just a huge card like solemn warning, potted duality, effect failure. So like the store owner would obtain like play sets of these cards and run tournaments on them. And that did just generate a bunch of hype, especially for like the players who didn't have that stuff. You had a hell of people entering for that stuff. You got case tournaments, box tournaments. I know that's pretty much standard nowadays, so it's probably like not as hype as it used to be. And then the big thing too is like OTSs need to stream. Like I don't like
Mm.
That
I
too.
my
That's a
local
good
one
point.
doesn't do it anymore. The one I used to do it, bro, he doesn't do it. Like the other one, they don't do it. It's an investment, and I get that. But local OTSs, man, like you're putting money on the table. You're leaving it on the table for not streaming like these events you're already like putting into. Like if you have a building, you got people coming to play, and you don't at least have a record button going on the match. You don't have to have someone back there talking. Maybe you'll have someone at their house that in your locals like commentating over through a Discord channel. There's a bunch of things you can do for local OTS, and like whenever we did streaming at mine, that also generated like a lot more player hype because for the players who couldn't go, they would watch the OTS on like Twitch whenever they were at work or if they were doing something for school. So they still felt like connected to their community that they love to go to every week, even on some of the weeks they weren't actually able to go and they could keep up on like the meta and stuff,
Mhm.
because sometimes you'll see some tech that locals that you're like, wait a minute, that was really good. So I mean, these are just like little things that like OTSs can do. I know that's a lot, but if it actually helps the player base, maybe makes them more money for the OTSs. I mean, it's all like small things that like hypes up the community's like engagement, even if it's not like a YCS or something perfect. And then like again, and what you were mentioning, the only thing Konami could really do at this point, besides like make more affordable stuff or just be better with their ban lists, is just like again just better prizes. I think if Konami would go back to, I'm not going to say crush card days because that was a little insane. I mean, it was something, but it was something. But again, if it was like some crazy ash blossom that like you could only get by getting like a top 8 or something, like man, I don't think they understand how fast that could turn things around.
Yeah, Pack said that. I think as a guest, he was like, if you can get Ash Blossom and like a rarity, only
Yeah,
exclusive to being a YCS winner, and you got
yeah,
like a playset of it, then that'd be something that would be
bro.
dope because it's already established card, but it's in a rarity that collectors would go gaga for because you can only get like exclusivity, obviously.
Yeah, no, and that would just turn things around so fast. Like I have almost been tempted to go do One Piece tournaments and play a game I really don't care about because if I even do halfway decent, I get all this payout and my friends are already going to these things, so I'm just tagging along with people I hang out with all the time, like maybe borrow one of their decks and I just win all this like it just it really makes people think about entering your tournaments that like honestly don't even might not even be all together in the metagame because it's like sweet, like you have some fun with friends, and then like your entry packs at the time to some of these tournaments alone are like decent, you know,
Worth
and
it, yeah.
that's something else that Konami really just needs to make it where it's like their entry to the tournament really needs to be worth someone's travel to a different state or something. And again, that's just all better prizes, but it would 180 so hard, like the competitive scene. I think we would definitely reflect more of a competitive scene that like EU has, you know, we would definitely like increase our numbers at least to theirs, if not more. And then EU would obviously probably gain a lot in popularity because people are just going there for better prizes. Like, I don't know. I think it would just all in all, I don't think Konami would really lose out on this in you know at all.
No, I agree, and I do think that as something that we should, as players, should be doing. Stores and OTSs in your local area streaming, I think is very critical. We're moving into a day and age where like Twitch is a very, very consumed platform. I think that we should lean our OTSs into things like that. Like even for example, Millennium Games, shout outs to them on Rochester. So Crush Cards home OTS. Very, very, very good with how the store is ran. They stream almost every event that they have, whether even sometimes they even do locals and stuff like that. They'll have people in a commentary room and a room
Mm-hmm.
on the side of the tournament room, just basically commentating and watching the stream and helping players understand and shit like that. So like they've done really big, like, almost not even like gives the players a boost, but it almost makes them feel a little bit more important. You know what I'm saying?
And yeah, and at this point,
It's
it's
like as a higher
great
settings, you
practice.
know? Yeah,
Like, yeah,
exactly. Get your peer pressure on there, you know what I'm saying? You're high pressure situation, people are watching you, you got eyes on you now, they're commenting, you're being judged,
yep.
you're up on the chopping block. So like that's even on a local level or like an OTS championship or even a regional, that's something I think that OTSs should be doing. That's something that gets people in the doors for not only your game, but like maybe they come to watch that, but they're in your store now and they'd be like, oh well, this Yu-Gi-Oh shit looks kind of cool. Let me see what's going on here. There's 200 people playing a card game. Let's find out what's going on there. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
now they're being streamed. Like, oh, that's really. I do agree with that. That's a
Can never
very,
go
very
wrong
good
with the
statement.
stream.
No.
Do you guys have an
Especially when
OTS out there that streams
um
Yes.
Winter?
Oh.
Oh, well, I know
uh,
you guys do. I'm talking
No,
about
my bad.
Winter
My winter. My bad.
for
Yeah.
Buffalo.
I mean, Heart of the Game has been my OTS. I've always recorded there. I never streamed unless there was a specific event that I would like. They asked me to stream, like Dalen, does the DB Lurker stuff, and I've streamed some of
Shout out to
his
him.
tournaments there. Yeah, shout outs to him. But yeah, I streamed I think one of his tournaments before, or two of his tournaments before there. But I only usually just record, and I stopped doing that just because like obviously I'm not playing and stuff. But
Get you back
um,
into that streams. I think that'd be really good.
yeah. No, I mean the live streaming is a lot more difficult and more hands on than just letting something record for each round. But on like on that same note, like it's always a bummer when they have big events like YCS and stuff and they're not streamed. I know there's always a
Absolutely.
collective groan from the community when they don't do that, when they
Correct.
very well could. And I'm not sure what all the behind the scenes is on that, whether it's like they need a certain player amount or the venue's not equipped for it or this, that, and the other thing. I have no idea, but
Or this
like,
country don't got Wi-Fi.
yeah, or I don't know. Like, I've seen the productions in person, like at Hartford, and they put on a pretty good show for the most part. But when they just choose not to, at some points, it feels random, and they're not very transparent about it either. And I think it's just it's like a negative thing for the community as a whole when they choose not to do that. And that's one thing they should definitely do more of.
I do agree with that. I mean, I did watch something that, damn, I'm gonna be beating myself up now because I can't remember who said it. It was like it was just on the YouTube algorithm, just floating around watching videos. And there's one guy was talking about how it's almost like a pack mentality that we need to have as a player base, where we're training a dog. He compared it to like training a dog, and he was like, we as the player base need to dictate to Konami what we
100%.
what we like and what's acceptable and what we will not tolerate. And that only happens if the entirety of the player base is behind it. If we all stop buying sets, if we all stop going to regionals, if we all stop attending YCSs, if we all stop attending anything or playing Master Duel or anything like that, we need to show Konami that we, as the player base, are upset and that they have wronged us and need to go back to the chalkboard and come up with something better because it's unacceptable. But the second that one duelist goes to these regionals, the second that one duelist goes to their OTS and buys a box of the latest product, the whole shit topples because they're not gonna care like what the bottom line is at the end of the day, as long as there is a bottom line. Like, you know what I'm saying? As long as they're getting money in the door, yeah, they may be losing it, but like they're not bankrupt yet. Like they have time to like they're sitting on borrowed time, but like if we as the player base determine this, like if we all stopped supporting this ragtag. I may not short print core sets, but I'm going to short print the shit out of side sets. And I'm going to make one good archetype per set. And I'm not going to drop a good archetype for another 3 core sets. So you got 3 or like another whole year or 3 to 8 months worth of getting milked out of this one core set. All right, cool. Then we're going to ban that shit. So all the money that you just spend in that's all out the window. And then we're going to drop the next best thing in this core set. So that way you have to go and get this. Like, if we just stopped playing along their game,
Yeah,
they would have to be changed. But it takes
100%.
players like you, Winner, to
Yeah.
say, yeah, go outside and touch grass for a while. I'm fine doing it. You know what I'm saying? You should go doing it. And if enough players do it and we show them, yeah, this isn't attractive to me anymore. This isn't fun to me anymore. What your product is now a shell of what it used to be. We need to show them that
100%.
this is not the way, because like if we keep buying these products and we keep buying into the secondary market bullshit and we keep letting them hurt our collectors pockets by reprinting all this dumb shit, especially shit that doesn't need reprints and shit that looks almost the exact same rarity, like bro, all of the disrespectful slap to the face that Konami has done to its player base is unacceptable. So he was
Gotta
kind of
vote
like,
with your wallet.
yeah,
Gotta vote with
literally,
your wallet.
he was ringing bells, and he was like, "Yo, this nigga's actually spitting facts." Like he was doing it in a really like preachy, like almost cult way. So that's why I was like, that's probably why I don't remember his name. But he was like, "Yo, we all need to stop doing it as a player base," and that's what got me thinking, like, "Yo, is it the player base is the problem, or is it really Konami?" Because
A
if
little
it
bit.
really was Konami, the player base wouldn't be supporting it. He kind of had a good point. So I was just wondering if like there's something that we can do as a whole, and obviously you guys have had some good points, but it does stem down to Konami needing to know that we do not tolerate this shit. Like this, it's the lesser of the community that keeps buying your product, not the majority.
Yep.
In my opinion, I don't know what the numbers is, but that's the way I'm hearing it from everyone out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it was like something I was talking about or commented a bit on, like whenever the whole EU thing happened with the playmats and the sleeves and all that, where it all has to be like Konami sanctioned stuff or whatever.
Mhm.
That was like something where it was kind of like I wonder if that's gonna be something where a lot of players kind of have had enough, and a lot of it is like non-compliance. You know, you have to be like nice about things, but what if like 1,000 of the players show up with like their own playmat? Are you literally gonna like not let them attend the event like because it's not a Konami playmat in EU? Like that just doesn't sound feasible, you know?
Yeah.
And if a lot of players would actually get together and do that at one time, you know, I mean, I think that we would see that rule change. And that's the one thing Konami has shown us in the past is they will change stuff around whenever it goes south for them. Okay. I mean, Master Rule 4 was a thing. Okay. Like I like that's where all my friends went. They're gone now. They're never coming back. They're never coming back either. Like they have lost so many players with decisions they've made that like I know we have a lot of new players now. Like people say Yu-Gi-Oh never gets new players. That must be a lie because I don't know how it's still going if it doesn't get new
Yeah,
players. Because all the people
definitely.
I know that played Yu-Gi-Oh don't play Yu-Gi-Oh anymore.
Play it, yeah.
So yeah, and that's because like they've made these really, really aggressive decisions, like reprinting everything same rarity, that the people who have the most to lose and the most in their game and the most invested into this company will be like, yeah, maybe I don't want to do this anymore. Maybe I'm just
Yeah.
gonna get rid of all of the assets that I have, which keep the value of these things even like kind of going, and just get rid of it, go into something else, or just like or what Winter said, probably best thing, just go touch grass, go do something else, go enjoy
I'm loving that.
yourself
I
a
think I'm
little
gonna
bit.
name this episode for those who are listening.
Go
It's
touch
gonna be
grass. I
Go
like it.
Touch Grass.
Yeah.
Go touch grass, and
Grass
you'll know
beats
why
fire,
now.
Yeah, exactly. And no, so I don't know. I think I can keep harping on that. But as you were saying, the players, I think there is a lot of like they can do, whether it's just not buying product or like not switching to the playmats that they are using. I'm not saying show up with like the lewd playmats. That needs to be gone. But just literally like your custom playmats that are normal playmats. Like there shouldn't
Well,
be anything
define
wrong with
normal.
that. I mean, like if it's just like Dark Arm Dragon, but it's not literally made from like whatever.
Yeah, but his ass is out, you know?
Yeah,
Type
big
deal.
old thick cheeks. You know what I'm saying? That's why he's turned around.
Yeah. That's why I call him daddy.
Oh
Yeah.
But like I don't know. I can see what you're saying though. I do see where like your motives are, like your perspective. Especially someone who hasn't played the game but still stays in touch when his friends or outside influences are no longer there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It definitely gets crazy. But moving on to one of our last topics for tonight, because I know we've been talking for a crazy amount of time. I don't want to take up too much of your time for you guys. Speaking of all the shakeups and shit that we get from Konami themselves, they have out in OCG land, Konami has decided to drop their ban list because out there, unlike in the TCG, they're very thoroughly laid out for them by date most times, and then even when it's by date, it usually has the exact time for them more often than not.
Must be nice.
But it must be nice. About to say, but that's neither here nor there. But last week was no different. They got their ban list announced, and these were the hits that they were given to their player base as followed, and they will be in effect as of July 1st, 2024, so next week. And the list goes as Forbidden. You have now Catapult Turtle, which was unlimited, going down to 0. And then you have Kaiser Coliseum, which was semi-limited, going from 2 down to 0. And then we have their limited section with Performer Pal Plush Fire with the errata, it says, which was forbidden, going back to 1. We have Magispector Kirin, which was forbidden, going back to 1. I forgot that they didn't get Kirin. We have Beatrice, the Lady of Eternal, going from unlimited down to 1. We have SP Little Knight going from 2 down to 1, along with Snake Eye Ash from 2 down to 1 as well. We have number 40 Gimmick Puppet of Strings, which was unlimited, going down to 1 as well for the Gimmick Puppet deck that was coming out. And we have Sandcan Summoning also from unlimited to 1, along with Summon Limit, following that trend that the OCG or the TCG did with limiting their floodgates. From semi-limited, no pun intended, we have all of the Dragon Rulers. We have Blaster, Redox, Tidal, and Tempest all going to 2, which were at 1. We have Spiral Click Fix, which was at 1 going to 2. And then we had Bonfire, which was unlimited, going down to 2. And then going to unlimited status, which means 3 copies free from the list. We have Glow Up Bulb, must be fucking lucky. Must be nice having that, which was limited, going to 3. We have Ib, the World Challenge Justiciar, from semi-limited to unlimited. So they were walked that all the way off. Those crazy motherfuckers put Thunder Dragon Colossus from limited status to unlimited status. And then we have Predaplan, Orphis, Scorpio from limited to semi-limited, along with Time Seal going from 1 to 3 as well. So with that list, do you guys think that these hits even really, let's just say we carbon copied this exact list and we were to import this into TCG? Let's speculate. Let's put this all in there.
No.
Do you think that it would have that much of a? I would say, do you think it would have that much of an influence of what people decide to play from here on out? I mean, especially with our national seasons like right about the fucking corner, it's about to like kick off. Like, would you guys think that different hits other than these ones would really need to be made in order to be like received correctly?
I know very little about the Snake Eye deck, but I know that Snake Eye Ash to 1 and Bonfire to 2 is not even remotely close. I know like Flamberge probably needs to be banned.
Hey!
Fucking
Little
absurd.
Knight went to 1. All right. Let's look at the list as a whole.
I don't think it's. Like, there's a lot of bloat on there, a lot of cards that are like, yeah, whatever, no one cares about, like the Dragon Rulers, some of the stuff that's unlimited, like, ooh, Time Seal, Predaplant, ooh, who gives a shit? Like, not like,
Yeah, literally.
I don't think it would make a big difference. It's just kind of like, guys, look, we made a ban list, kind of ban list. I don't know. That's what it seems like. And again, I don't have enough experience right now currently, but with my very little knowledge, I don't think this would make any waves in the format to make any real changes that need to come.
I missed something. Why did Catapult Turtle get banned again? Like that's been
Oh,
my
there's
like main. There's like some OTK. There
you
has
know
to
what's
be, right?
funny? Winner Kills is gonna love it because the photon
Oh.
support that they get
Oh,
helps you
yo.
loop that bitch, and
Okay.
will
True.
FTK your opponent through
I mean, I
turn
wasn't gonna
one.
play that variant anyways, but
Oh yeah, sure he wasn't.
no,
Sure he wasn't.
that shit's lame as fuck.
See,
I'll pass on that.
Now he'll skip all these formats just to come back and play an FTK,
Yeah,
guaranteed.
right. That's what I've been waiting for. My beloved favorite
Oh, I
fucking
can
rank
burn
8
him.
combo deck into a fucking FTK gimmick.
Yeah, now we getting him.
Yeah.
We out here,
um,
boys.
no, dude, that's insane. No, so thank you for that. I didn't know that with Catapult Turtles. That's nice. Wouldn't be the same hitter over here as it would be there. Mainly, I would like to say because Kaiser Coliseum has been putting in some work with that Tempai Dragon deck over there, so that's kind of nice. You know, as well as just other builds. I know they've been kind of abusing the Kaiser, so seeing that hit over there is definitely effective. Here, we just haven't seen that. Um, Everything else, I mean, I don't think it's gonna happen. Like, we're not gonna see someone triple time seal anyone at this next nationals that we're gonna be seeing for North America,
That'd be
or
lit.
going to Worlds or anything. Colossus, we could maybe see a few decks try to double up on it, but it's still not the same as it used to be. I still think we might see the Dragon Rulers go to 2 on our list, kind of like be the Dragon Ruler list instead of the Malicious list. And then for all the limited stuff, we already have a lot of that pretty much in the same place. I know SP is like not at 1 here, but I guess the only thing we'd be noticing is like Sandgan summoning or summon limit even being unrestricted. It just kind of milk toast. I don't think there's like a lot of stuff going for it. I know there's a lot of memes because it's like, oh, Beatrice is at 1 now instead of at 3, so I'll just FTK you once instead of 3 times. So
Well,
it's
yeah,
like
Beatrice was hit because the Speedsmith archetype was
yeah,
super
yeah,
fusing it. Yeah, they
broken.
crank rake sixes. Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah,
they just
so
needed
it's
to
like
limit that.
I get it, you know, but it's just nothing that we're gonna be seeing over here. I think our list is gonna be very, very, very different. And then I know, like you said, like the Ash and the Bonfire, yeah, it cuts down consistency. Maybe they won't open up their out like an extra game out of their entire like days of playing, but it definitely does not hurt the deck in any of the capacities that like the deck needs to be trimmed down on. So I
Ceiling is
definitely
still there.
agree with that. Yeah, the ceiling's definitely there. So
Hmm.
I don't know, kind of mid list.
Do you guys think that a ban list would even have an effect on the format right now, or is the game kind of too far gone for it to like even really matter? Like that like we need like a hard setting 2019 to 2020 like ban list to like really kind of shake things up.
I think a big ban list could definitely have an effect. Just like get the fucking decks that have been at the top like for so long, just get them out. Like get them the fuck out of there. Like bring in some actual change. Don't do some little slap on the wrist again. Like it's just it doesn't do anything, and you can tell it doesn't do anything because you look at the results of the next YCS that happens right after the ban list, and look what's making up top cut. Oh, it's all Snake Eyes still. Our ban list didn't do anything, guys. It clearly, very clearly, did not do anything. Look at the top cut representation. Big enough ban
That's what I'm
list.
talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, big enough ban list. Actual make some changes. Ban a lot of cards, like, and just kind of do a full reset from there on out, and then just have a better idea of how to make better cards from the get-go and future-proof things better, and that's a whole other conversation and takes a lot of brain power and work that I wouldn't want to have that job if I worked at Konami, you know what I mean? Trying to figure all that shit out, but like it's just got to be um done a different way. I don't know. It's just that's the one thing that pisses me off is like they'll come out with a ban list, you're like finally is the best deck going to get hit? And then it's just a little slap on the wrist. And it's like, well,
Oh
fucking
no,
3 more
it's
months of
not.
this. That's the most annoying fucking thing ever.
Yeah, no, I definitely feel that like this has been the never ending fire format, I swear, you know. But I don't think like a big enough ban list would shake things up where I think we could have like a cool little fun format for a bit where it's like, oh sweet, all of our tier 2 decks are here and tier 3 is actually now tier 2. So it's like I understand like that could actually be like really enjoyable for like a very short term like thing. But as you were saying, like we need some future proofing in their card design. We need to make sure that like whenever they're like coming out with like archetypes, like half of them aren't just completely useless. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
seems like we do have just like a bunch of dead cards in the game as filler. And
Yes,
the
yes.
numbers are, and like this is even worse now that we have like actual archetypes in the game. It's like, oh sweet, for an entire generation of card stock that sucks, you
It
know.
literally
And like
will
we might
sit
get
forever.
yes until we like make a new Melodious deck. Then now the old Melodious are somewhat useful. So it's like
Yeah, right.
Now they're bulk.
yes, and it's like I kind of wish they would just do that faster and be like, oh, here's let's sprinkle the like. It's like I understand Diabellstar is like the main monster of the year, and I like that they do that where they keep adding or Albaz like. You branded players, I'm so tired of you, but I love how they do the card design for that. Yes, like that was great, you know, like, but it's just the fact that it's like they need to do that more. No, I love you, branded players. It's okay. I go into Red Eyes Dark Dragon all the time, but it's like it's just the fact that it's like they need to do that with more archetypes where it's like, okay, we're going to add a couple more, you know, support cards to that deck because it just didn't cut into the meta like we wanted. I mean, they really hype up a bunch of these like archetypes. I mean, look at what was the one, the TCG exclusive one that I liked a bunch. It was like the Vados.
Vidos.
Yeah.
Vidos,
Yeah. But like whatever that archetype is, it's like
Ashen?
it's a Ashen. Cool.
Ashen, yeah.
Like, bro, that's
Yeah.
sick. That's sick, man. Like, but
that was
you
a
just
sick ass archetype.
you just can't. They just can't, bro. And it's like you know that they're like so close to making it good, but then they just fumble the ball so
They didn't want it to
hard.
be good to begin with. They
Exactly.
didn't want it. That was the plan from the get-go.
Exactly. And it's like it's almost like failed to like set to fail from the start.
Yep.
And it sucks, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just really I don't know. There's like we were talking earlier. It's like there's so many cards in this game. Like that's what makes Yu-Gi-Oh sick. Is there's just so many options, and it's really so cool, Konami, when you can only play 3 of those like 10,000 options. It's really sweet, you know.
It's like the
But-
dead card theory. Like there's so
Yes.
many cards in the game, but like 90% of them aren't even worth looking at.
Yes, I've never. Dude, I love that. Yes, yes.
It's like
It's
dead
so
internet
true,
theory,
though.
but for cards.
It is. Yes. No, it's so true. It's so true. Like it's
Well,
so
then,
true.
so I mean, I guess if that's the point, then so I guess we'll end it off on this. Would you guys rather Konami continuously make these broken cards, and then when they get too busted or too abused, I'll say quote unquote abused, they ban them, or would you rather no strong cards or no overly broken cards get printed, and we're in like a state of everything is kind of mids? You know what I'm saying? Because there's got to be an edge. You know what I'm saying? Something's got to be quote unquote competitive.
Yeah,
So,
no,
like,
they'll
what would you
always
guys
have
prefer?
to. They'll always have to have a selling point, and like that's just the nature of the beast. Like it's got to have some kind of selling point for them to make a profit, to keep the lights on. That will unfortunately never go away. It just is what it is. But I think we've also kind of gotten a little too used to like, it's like when you have a kid, you're not supposed to feed it, you know, fruits and candies. You're supposed to feed it the vegetables first, right? So they get used to that. They like it. But I think we've been kind of brought up in a with how they design cards, that's like the opposite of that. Like we're so used to the broken, the busted, we get it all the time. We want that,
Yeah.
and everything else is just, even
We're
though they're
spoiled.
good cards, if they're not broken and busted and fucking insane, I don't really want them. I want the broken cards. I want more broken cards. So it's just like our expectations, I think, need to lower a little bit as to what makes a card good. I think that in general, that mindset, that mentality of lowering our expectations in that sense would be great for the community as a whole. Maybe it would take some pressure off of them from figuring out how to design cards that'll sell sets. I think it goes back to making things more archetype related, less generic cards. That always creates problems for lots of decks in the format because every deck is using it as a crutch now because it fits into every deck instead of just being one card designed for one archetype. And just, I think, just a gradual slowdown from kind of the peak that we've been at for a long time. I think that's kind of like the best starting point. Again, I can't imagine how stressful it would be to work for a company like this and for a game that's as revered as Yu-Gi-Oh has been in the terms of the TCG space for a long time. definitely wouldn't be a job I want. And I respect the people that have the job, but it's got to change, I think. And I think there could be a happy medium somewhere where we're not constantly printing broken cards, but we're also not living in a state where we're only printing cards that do one thing and that's it. Like this card gains 500 attack, or this card can't be destroyed by card effect. You know what I
Can't go
mean?
back to the Stone Age.
Yeah, I feel like there can be a happy medium somewhere. It's just how do you get there? You know, some of the things that I mentioned, that's a whole different story, and whether or not it'll happen, also, is a completely different story.
Yeah, like you said, there needs to be a happy medium. Like, and I don't think having broken cards is like bad. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I lived through the Dark Arm Dragon era. It was pretty fun, I might add. Like, you know what I mean? But you know, that all the time, like you said, like the last couple ban lists have just been, or like the last couple formats have just been like tier 0, tier 1, like high up 1, tier 0. You know, it's like it gets stale after a while. But like once in a while, having a tier 0 isn't like the end of the game. It's not going to kill Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yes,
So like I
exactly.
think like a once a year, once every other year, like power format, that's actually I dare say healthy for a game because it hypes people up. But then
Yeah.
it runs its course and is over. You know.
Yes.
And it's like now, like you said, that's its own level of them having to balance that out, and I'm sure it would be a struggle. But it's something they definitely could do. I mean, they can do anything they want, man. And I think what like they back themselves into these power creep corners where they feel like the only viable source is to like nuke the entire surrounding area and be like, oh, Master Rule 4, Master Rule 4, all your shit's useless. You know, it's like, okay, that wasn't good. All right, never mind. Let's just say like you can't use like the pendulum's the same way. I know that's all like Master Rule 4, but it's like they really go on these like tirades of like murdering the scene around them and being like, okay, well now it's fair and balanced again, and then it slowly creeps into the not fair and balanced, and it's like, well, you probably shouldn't have went that hard before then, you know. And like, you know, again, it's like I want to see a few power like formats, but it does need to slow down or at least like go into like a little bit like lower phase where you have like multiple decks that can compete. And like you said, like whenever they have like archetypes come out, make it more archetype related, and then just keep giving support to those archetypes. Don't just let them die after literally 2 packs, you know. And it's like, oh, if they
Yeah.
didn't run their course now, they never will. You know, it's like Voiceless Voice like never really even saw its spotlight. It kind of did, but now we know in 2 formats it's dead again, probably, you know. And that sucks. Like that's really rough for like players that even like got those cards, you know. So I think that's just something Konami like really needs to work on, is just like maintaining the power level at like a fair, reasonable spot, and maybe once in a while like fluctuate like a little higher or low depending on like the format. But just overall, like the health of the cards that get released, I understand like not every single card's gonna be like game breaking, but like for these archetypes that are coming out, like just having a literal dead fluff to a pack just doesn't feel good either.
Oh yeah.
No, I can
So
I can see bits and pieces from both of your guys' arguments that I can kind of mesh into a perspective that I could say I would take, because I agree with Winner where he says that like cards do so much right now, because I
oh
just had a
dude, so
discussion
much.
with a couple local players where we were talking about quote unquote what makes a good card, and we came
Yeah.
to the conclusion that a card has to do 3 things. One of which usually has to recur something, either itself, a material that used to make it, or a combo piece, something. But it has to be recurable, it has to be disruption, and it has to be easily made. You know what I'm saying? It has to do 3 things. Like,
Yeah.
so, and that's crazy to think that if a card doesn't do 3 things, it's not good. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause that's almost like you said, too spoiled. But then again, I'll look over at something that what Venge was saying about Konami making these cards that are abusable, and then I gotta kind of look at myself and I'll be like, all right, well, if these cards weren't intended on abuse, why are we as a player base abusing it? And I'll give you an example. Like we're talking about Gimmick Puppet. Gimmick Puppet right now is an abused card in branded, although I do fuck with the branded players, but it's an abused card and it wasn't meant for it to be used in that way. So we, the player base, got toxic and decided to utilize it in this way. So much so that it's becoming a big ass problem. But is that a Konami issue? Because the card was designed for its own archetype. Or is that a player base issue where we got to take a look in the mirror at ourselves and be like, damn, are we the problem? Nigga, are we the toxic ones? You know what I'm saying? Are we the ones that are abusing the the privileges that we have and the cards that we have in the pool available to us, or is it the fact that Konami is like printing cards that allow them? Because like you got to then look at cards like Harpy's Featherstorm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Broken in Harpies because Harpies needs a card like that in order to compete in today's meta. But it gets abused by Flunderies to where they can now stick that with an M-Pen and an Avion and have just about complete control of the game.
No, I like that
is to
argument.
blame
I
for
want
that?
Maxi and Mystic
You know
Mind.
what I'm
Those
saying?
cards are fine.
Oh my
yeah, it's the
fucking
player base. It's the player
This
base
is the
that's
exact
fault.
point. This is the exact point. So are you to blame for Maxi and Mystic Mind, or is Konami to blame for Maxi and Mystic Mind? You know?
Like, it depends on how you look at the game. Do you look at it from a sheerly competitive standpoint, or do you look at it from more of a casual standpoint? Because if you look at it from a competitive standpoint, people will use whatever's at their disposal to win. Whether that means gimmick locking your opponent, who gives a shit how salty they get about it. You lose, haha, I won in a way that Konami said I could win because this card isn't banned.
You lose, I win.
Right?
That's all that matters.
Yeah, but if you want to be like gentleman's agreement and you're playing for fun at home, like, oh guys, we're gonna use a custom ban list, no gimmick puppet, then sure, that's like a player based thing at that point. But like it's those cards that have poor design from the get go, like gimmick puppet, like it's one of those things, and again, it's like an inherent problem that's built into the nature of Yu-Gi-Oh! Not that it necessarily needs to change. It's just those things that kind of pop up every now and then. Cards that were made 5-10 years ago all of a sudden get found to be super broken in a certain deck just because people are looking for those things, and then boom, there it is. And I think it's up to Konami at a certain point to be like, oh shit, well, we didn't foresee that. All right, well, let's ban it.
Yeah.
Like, I guarantee you, when they designed the branded deck, they weren't like, all right, we're going to make people fucking, this is going to be great for a gimmick puppet card that has nothing to do with the fusion
in
archetype
10 years from now, there's going to be an archetype that's going to spring this shit out, and niggas is going to love it. I swear.
The people who worked at Konami when they fucking designed that card might not even fucking work there anymore. You know what I mean? Like, it's just an unforeseen consequence that just kind of jumps out of nowhere. And I feel like when it does get to be a problem, it's not interactive gameplay. No one likes it. It should have been banned. I don't know why the fuck it isn't banned. Like, branded players got it easy enough as is with the fucking triple branded fusion they still got. Like,
yeah.
I fucking hate branded players. I'll fucking say it openly.
And two higher rarities.
Yeah.
Just low key, just branded hate over here. We just
they banned the fucking trap card, but they got fucking sanctifiers still. Like, that makes any fucking sense. Why can't it be targeted? It's fucking stupid. Like, they literally gave them 2 gimmick puppet cards just so they could ban one just to get people off their ass. Like, it's so stupid. No. Like, that's totally on them at that point. Especially a card like gimmick puppet. It should not have. It should not have been as legal long. It should not be legal still. Is what I'm trying to say. That's that.
Yeah.
No.
As soon as the abuse started, you should have been gone.
Yes. No, it's Konami. Like, it has to be, you know, because and almost at a certain point, like, they like lean into it, bro, because they're like, oh, what if we make a gimmick puppet archetype support?
Yeah.
Like,
what a coincidence!
To the other players board now. It's like, wow, Konami, thanks, bro. Thanks for really showing us you're gonna like ban this thing next format. No, Sanctifier's probably gonna go before the puppet at this point. I'm keeping it 1,000 with it, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like, no, dude, Konami, like. It's gonna naturally happen at times, like you said. It's literally the nature of Yu-Gi-Oh! With every card being available. Once in a while, you're gonna have one that slips by. It's like, wow, this is actually pretty good. Holy shit, Cold Wave is actually not bad. Like, and it's like, yeah, that card's actually broken, and that's going to happen. But Konami needs to like address those issues, which they do sometimes. Like when it's like the really nutter butter stuff that they're like, bro, we don't even want to reprint that. Let's just get that out of the format. Like they will like do like some addressing to that. But I mean, they just have never actually had their house in order when it goes to like future proofing cards. And I think this even goes back to literally like Frog the Jam. You know what I mean? Where it's like they just had no idea that naming cards was important. They just gave them
Yo,
any
niggas is gonna care about this shit. Change that fucking name. I swear to God, do not print that card.
No, it's Harpy's
that is
brother,
Slime Toad.
Yeah,
Harpy's
Gin releaser of rituals, etc., etc.
Yeah. So it's like they've always had like an issue with this, like, oh, it's like, oh, well, we're gonna have everything forever, but also we're not gonna realize that might actually have some effects in the future if we don't keep up on that now, you know. So it's like, see, like they're obviously working on that issue, but clearly not good enough, especially when you have like cards come out that are like it's like just exceedingly broken and aren't once per turn, or like you have cards like that will drop. It's like, oh yeah, man, that card's gonna get hit on like the next ban list or something. And I don't know. I think there are fewer and far between than we used to have, but I don't know. It is on Konami's end to note, like, to really know that it's like, okay, how is this going to, like, how is the player base going to react? Will they treat this card as some sort of lockout of the game? You know, we see this time and time again with, like, the floodgates now, and it's just, like, I think Konami's slowly and surely catching on, but it's like, will they implement it in a way that's healthy for the player base? I don't really trust them to do that one, you know, so.
I don't trust ourselves. I don't think is what it is. I don't trust ourselves
Oh,
to
wow.
stay out of our own way. I think that, as Winter said, we're going to get more competitive, and the more competitive thing is, how do I get the
Yep.
edge over the next person? The same way, kind of, you look at it with life. It's like, how
Yeah.
do I get the edge over the next person to put myself in a better position to win? And as long as we have that pack mentality, as like that one player who I can't remember his name was talking about, it's not going to matter. As long as there's one person gimmick puppet blocking people,
Yep.
Mhm.
we are the problem. It doesn't matter like that Konami made it 15 years ago or not. It wasn't made for that purpose. We all know it wasn't made for that purpose. Nowhere on this gimmick puppet did they say branded or fucking Despia. We all know
Yeah.
what the main purpose is. We as the player base decided to do that. I can't blame Konami 25 years ago when the card game was small to future sight for 25 years worth of cards and be like, damn, I can't print this one card that says no one's having fun because in 15 years from now, someone's going to break this
No,
shit. You know what I'm saying? They
that's
just
an
weren't thinking
impossible
about it. You know what I'm
task.
saying?
It's impossible.
So I can understand that having the cards in the format. I do agree with as soon as them becoming the problem, we need to get rid of them. But we as a player base needs to also determine, like, all right, maybe what's too toxic. You know what I'm saying? Like what's toxic and what's fun. And
It's
we need to bring
like-
the game back to what's fun, not what's competitively toxic.
Yeah, it's like a relationship with the kids and the parents. We're the kids, Konami's the parents, and every now and then the two brothers start, like, the one brother slaps the other one in the face, and then he starts crying and he thinks it's funny and he keeps doing it over and over again. It's up to Konami to say, "Hey, stop slapping your brother in the face. It's not nice."
Yeah.
And that's them banning the card essentially. That's their job. When we get out of hand like that, that's their job to fix something like that, which they've definitely fallen flat on that.
If I'm picking
Nah,
up the
man.
bottle to hit my brother, get that right.
Yeah, no, they're
You know?
selling us the bottle to hit the brother. Okay,
Yeah.
I might add, like...
Yo, why are you hitting him with that bottle when you can hit him with this
Yeah,
bottle?
bro, you know
It's
this one has
upgraded
a
for your
lot
hand
more
That's a good
feature.
friction.
point.
You can do
That's
way more
true.
damage with this one. I'm gonna look the
This
other
is
way.
heavier. This
They're
one's
giving us
spiked.
stats. Yeah, or even reprinted the same rarity as the other bottle.
Yeah.
Well, with that being said, guys, we are starting to run out of life points. I just want to thank everyone so much for being on today's episode and for giving so much of their time. Just a reminder for all the listeners out there for the sponsored content. As you know, we got to go over it one more time. Be sure to check out that Linktree link. It's in the description box below. You click on it. You follow all of our social sites, yada, yada, yada. Like I said, we'll get to that giveaway right before I get everyone's opinion on the show. Be sure to check out Unplugged Gaming. Their description box is also down below to their Discord. Click on it. You can join their TCG communities and be a part of all the things happening in store and out of store. So be sure that you're up to date on all the things going on at Unplugged. And then once again, every Saturday night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can check out Brad, aka Mr. Perfect, out there doing his thing, streaming. Whether he's deck theorying or crafting, play testing with you guys, no matter what it is, we're prepping for events or just shooting the shit, having fun. Be sure to catch him out there. I'm sometimes out there on there streaming with him. So if you want to be a part of the podcast or be a part of the things that we talk about for the Friday night wrap up, definitely be sure to catch his stream. With that being said, I just want to thank all of our guests for coming on and donating their time to the platform. Is there anything else you guys want to say? Last minute shout outs, plug-ins, any final thoughts on the show tonight? Anything like that from you guys?
Fuck branded decks. Fuck branded players. That's it.
Yo, fuck that. Yo, that's his whole shit. Fuck Despia, yo. Hashtag fuck Despia.
Hey man, well shout out to X. Thank you so much for having us all on. My thumbnail guy Thug314, big shout out to him. My wife, because you know she's the best. I love her so much. She's the greatest. So shout out to my wife. And then Team Never Rod, Maxie did nothing wrong, Mystic Mind, all that good stuff. You know all the good stuff.
Yeah, we're gonna cut his mic off from here on out. But as we were talking about earlier, we've reached 200 subscribers on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for following, liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting, all that shit. We just want to show love back. The To enter this contest for the YouTube giveaway, you have to be a subscriber of the channel. So I'm not gonna give it away to anyone who's not supporting us. You have to like this video right here that you're listening to right now, and then go to the comment section down below on this video, and you're going to type hashtag go touch grass, because that is the new movement that we
Yes.
need in order to beat the. So with that being said, once again, like the video, subscribe to the channel, go down below and comment hashtag go touch grass, and you will be entered to win the giveaway. I will announce it on Friday what the actual prize will be. It might be a box of product, it might be a playmat, it could be a deck box, some new cards, some new sleeves. Hey, you never quite know. So we appreciate all of you guys for showing love. I am Player X. This has been the Semi-Limited Podcast. Thank you so very much for listening, guys, and good night.